Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
Hello. And guess what? We're live. Hello, hello, hello. It's Tuesday. Look at everybody showing up here. Hello, Deborah, Jocelyn, Patsy, Catherine. So good to have you here. I'm kind of excited about today because we're going to be talking about something that, we've talked about before. I'm all messed up here, you guys. I'm sorry. I've got this big bulky sweatshirt with this little vest, trying to keep myself a little bit warm, even though it's kind of warm outside. My office is freezing. Lynn, hello yourself. And Alice, you too. Carol's here. Carol is now living in Asheville. She's just, we have to get together and have coffee or something. I'm just saying, Carol, you're just like down the street from me. Isn't it so fun when people are right there? Anyway, so our weather has been just all over the board. We have had spring-like weather. We've got daffodils blooming in our yard. It's just crazy. Hey, Trish, good to have you here. I'm really excited about today's show because today's show is all about stuff that I've been talking around the edges with it. I'm going to say it was part of a full bloom that I did years ago. It was maybe part of a show that I did years ago, and maybe I did a whole thing on it. I don't know, but it's been a minute. And today we're going to be talking about the growth mindset and how a growth mindset is absolutely crucial for creating the vibrant life that you want. And the reason we're going to be talking about this is because it's what I said. It's like we've been scooting around the edges with all of it and saying yes and adopt a mindset of growth. And, that's Carol Dweck's work, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we're going deep today. Deep, I tell you. And I'm going to give you some action steps and things that you need to do. And don't forget, always, today's show notes are going to be in tomorrow's newsletter. So if you are not signed up for our newsletter, you're missing out. All right? That's all I'm going to say. The other thing is, don't forget, we are right now, we are at March 5th. We're going to be getting ready for, we've got all kinds of sprints booked. So if you don't have your supplies, go get your supplies, get them. The thing that you should know is that when you buy things in bulk, we reward you financially, right? We take a lot of money off of that. So you can go check out all of our kits, savingdinner.com/kits, and get it going, right? You can start your sprint anytime. You can start it anytime that you decide that you want to start it. And I guarantee you, once you start a sprint lifestyle, you can count on it changing your life. If you don't believe me, ask Tanya on day 1,000, right? She's really doing a great job there. Anyway, so today we're going to go right into all of that stuff. I have nothing else to share with you today except that. Don't forget announcements. You can find savingdinner.com/announcements, all of that stuff. The quote of the week is, enough is a decision and not an amount. And I want you to think about this one because there's how many times do we think that that's what it's about? Oh, I've had enough, something maybe that we've said. But we need to understand how that just making that little switch in our head creates a different view of what that is. Think about it. Enough is a decision. It's when you have made that decision. Like last night, I'm going to give you an example. Last night, Mark is eating. We have like this dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate. Well, let me put it to you this way. I love milk chocolate, but I like very much dark chocolate. But I have a tendency I want to go into this whole thing of not just having the ounce, but going past the ounce into how much is in this bar? How much of this can I eat? And so for me, the answer is very clear. Enough is a decision. I've had enough chocolate. That's a decision for me. I know exactly what that chocolate tastes like. And if I want to, I can make a different decision the next day. I like this because it frees up space in my head and it gives me an opportunity to say, decision made, move on. And that way you don't have all that going back and forth stuff, and you don't have your brain occupied with should I or shouldn't I, a little bit or just a tiny bit. Well, this much won't hurt. And then this whole discussion happens in your head. And it holds you back, and it takes a lot of energy, by the way. And it keeps you away from exactly the things that you want in this lifetime. So think about that one. I think this is a good one to drop into your journal and to really, cogitate on for a while. Enough is a decision, not an amount. Good stuff, right? All right, you can see what we're putting up there too, did you know that if you order $300 worth of merchandise from us, we'll ship it to you free? Did you know that? So stock up and save. Stocking up, when you stock up, we always give you a break in price. And then when you are really stocking up and you go to $300 amount, we're going to give you free shipping too. So it's a huge savings. Mary Rush, it's so nice to have you here. I'm glad you're here. So if you're ready, it's time to buckle your seatbelts, ladies, because we're going in. We're going in, and we're going to be talking about the biggest mindset, blah, 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 the biggest mindset shift that you can make. Say that fast 3 times. Mindset shift, mindset shift, mindset shift. The biggest mindset shift that you can make in your lifetime will absolutely change the whole entire trajectory of your life. I am not kidding. I read this book, I think in 2015, and it was Carol Dweck's book on the growth mindset. And it knocked my socks off because I didn't quite understand how locked in I was to this fixed mindset. And I've written this board out of what the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset is. All right. And you can see these are just some of the things that were in her book, and I wrote them out so that you can see them. I believe we have a picture of this, and I believe we can put that picture into our newsletter for tomorrow. Otherwise, we have a graphic for it, but this would be certainly worth your while. But at the very bottom, what you can see is that when we're talking about limited success versus higher levels of success, what we're talking about isn't just your work. We're talking about life in general and the contrast between these two things. I want you to start thinking about in terms of where do I get caught? What things am I stuck with this, fixed mindset? And what things am I able to hold loosely with an open hand and see the potential for growth? This is the key, because this is the thing that's going to move the needle in your life. This is the thing that's going to make you say, oh, wait a minute, I see this. I see this 100%, what's going on. And I would also suggest highly that you go watch the TED Talk on growth mindset by Carol Dweck. D-W-E-C-K is how you spell her name. And get the book. If you're like me and you have Audible and you've got all those Audible credits, there's one. I listen to books. I take Lincoln out on a 2-mile walk around the lake every day. And I just started, I used to just take him up on the berm, throw the ball with him and play with him and stuff. But he also needs to walk just like I do. So now I'm doing that, and I'm listening to lots and lots of books. So, you can double dip on stuff like this. So Carol Dweck's groundbreaking book is all based on research that has been done, which that's why I give it so much credit, because they found that the belief in your abilities and intelligence can be developed in time with your time, effort, and dedication. Contrary to what we used to always believe, that intelligence is set and our abilities are static and they're unchangeable and there's nothing that we can do about it. And especially after you reach a certain age, we were all taught this. And weren't you taught, just feeling like, oh, it's too late for me. It's hopeless. I can't do anything because it's already laid out for me. This is my destiny, kind of a thing. But I want to bring to mind too for you the understanding of what is a belief anyway, because beliefs are things that we hold to be true, because beliefs always are, and this is where it gets really interesting, just things that we think about. We think about over and over, and they finally move into this place of, oh yeah, that's great. That's true. That is true. Can't teach an old dog new tricks is part of a fixed mindset. That's exactly right, Patsy. And I mean, how often have you said that about yourself? Raise your hand. Yeah, we all have. But it's not true. And it's especially not true when you embrace this idea that we can have this growth mindset. What about learning how to play the piano at a later age, or learning a new language, or starting to crochet or something? All of these things show that this growth mindset's a thing, and they all address different parts of the brain, by the way. So when we contrast this fixed mindset with a growth mindset, we say, oh, definitely, this is what I want. I want that growth mindset, because growth mindset's going to give us that resilience that we all want. We don't want to quit on ourselves. I mean, is there one person here who wants to quit on themselves? I don't know anybody who does, but we do on the regular, because we don't believe enough in ourselves that, this is going to work. So if we do this, though, and if we start to understand that this resilience comes along with a growth mindset, we're going to start to love to learn, and we'll become lifelong learners. And that is the key. That is something that you can tuck into your pocket. That is something you need to take with you. We need to become lifelong learners. We need to become women who are on this quest of looking to learn, improve, become, and I'll do so vibrantly. That's what a growth mindset fosters, right? And this is going to give you the persistence to achieve those long-term goals. This is going to give you the chutzpah and grit to overcome the challenges that come your way. Autumn and Sue, it's so good to have you here. So this is the special sauce, y'all. This is what transforms your life, is seeing through that lens. Are you with me? Are you with me? Give me some pinkies up, man. I haven't had some pinkies up for a long, long time. Give me some pinkies up, because we're on this journey. We're on this path. When we have made the decision that enough is a decision, right? When we've made that, and not an amount. When we've made the decision that this is the path that we're going to choose, everything switches. The lens with which we look through switches. We become different women. Look, there's Jocelyn too. I didn't see you. Hi, Jocelyn. This is everything, y'all. This is everything. I'm going to give you some ideas to, first of all, we're going to understand the impact of a growth mindset, and then I'm going to give you like 8 actionable steps of things that we can do. Because I want you to feel the shift inside. I want you to feel this like, oh yeah, this is it. Because that's when things really change. And it doesn't mean that, everything's just going to be super easy and I'm never going to have another problem again. No. If you were a perfectionist and that's what you're going after, I hate to tell you, it's going to be a disaster. But if you are pursuing a vibrant, excellent life, this will help to get your lens straight and your path corrected, right? So stick with me. So when we have this growth mindset, then when we've decided I'm putting on this growth mindset, I'm becoming this woman, I'm going to look and view obstacles in a different way with a different lens. I'm going to stop saying this is too hard. I can't, this, that garbage stuff. When we start seeing that there are lessons from setbacks and they're there to teach us and not put us down and put us in a box, we start to see things a whole lot differently. This is crucial for personal development. This is crucial because this promotes the lifelong learning that needs to be a part of the equation. It also helps us to become adaptable and resilient, which also has to be a part of the equation. Because if we're so fragile and so easily broken and so, we can't hear anything, or, somebody will say, oh, talking to her is like walking on eggshells, then, I'm sorry, but blessed are the flexible, for they will not be easily broken. And we've got to adapt that, because that is what the science shows us will get us to this place of living with that lens of a growth mindset. This is everything, y'all. This is everything. So what are the steps then that we can take? Well, the first one is, and I always say a new lens, because, I've got several pairs of glasses, but when I put on a pair of glasses like this, oh, I can see, that lens helps you to see. Like this, I can see, but I'm like looking into this thing and I see fuzzy. New lens, I can see much more clear. Things are sharper. It helps me to see. We all have to put on a lens. And I'm saying to you that you can put on the lens to see and to understand, to discern, and to become a lot sharper in your vision for yourself. That's part of it. And we can start to view these challenges then as opportunities. I'm not talking Pollyanna here. I'm not saying, oh, and now I'm enjoying the fact that I just failed at X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying that, because how number one, how stupid is that? Number two, how dismissive is that? We do have feelings about things. We do have things that we don't like failing. No one likes to fail. However, if we could say, okay, so that didn't work. What's next? There has to be another way. There has to be. I have been doing this. I've been working with an ad agency. You don't want to know. And all these different things. Like, it's always what's next, I haven't thrown in the towel, and maybe I will. Maybe that's going to be the thing that needs to happen. I don't know. But I will tell you this. These are the things that I do know. Until I have completely drained every single resource that I have in my head about what it is that we can do next and try next, then I'm not going to quit on myself. I'm not going to quit on this idea. I need to expand. I need to learn. I need to grow. And so when we're faced with a difficult task, instead of saying, avoiding it, or pretending that it's not there or whatever, we can instead look at it and say, you know what? How can I do this different? How can I get into this place of growing from whatever this mistake was that happened? Because I believe with all of my heart, and you can write this down, you can take it to the bank, curiosity is a key factor in growing. Because if you're not asking yourself questions, I promise you, nobody's going to knock on your door and say, have you asked the right questions? Are you sure this is the path that you want to go? Are you done dismissing yourself? Do you not see yourself through the lens that God sees you through? Nobody's going to do that for you unless you do it for yourself. And oh my gosh, you're so worth it. When we do this, we are fostering, we're pressing the button to grow. We are watering the plants. We're taking out the weeds. We're growing this incredible, vibrant garden of what could be our lives. That's what we're doing. And number two is that we have to persist in this place of setbacks, because guess what? It's part of it. I do not know of a single soul who didn't have a setback in their lives. I don't. It's part of the learning process, y'all. It doesn't have to paralyze you. It doesn't have to put you into this place of despair. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to take you down. This is what we have to do. If you've heard me say this before, and I say this with all humility, we must disconnect from the emotional turmoil of what we connect with this failure, because we do connect that. We have this emotional stuff here, and then we have this failure here, and we go whoop, put it together, and then it's like putting together a bomb. Everything goes off. Nothing gets accomplished or done. We can have these emotions. Let's process them separately from the failure. Disconnecting from that failure emotionally means you have the what have you and the wherewithal to be able to dissect it a little bit and to get into the weeds with it and say, okay, so what exactly happened here? What's this about? What can I do differently? How can I find my way through all of this? Everything is figure outable. Amen? Isn't it? It has to be. And guess what? That's going to foster your resilience. It's going to foster your perseverance. It's going to have you not quitting on yourself. And number 3 is you have to understand that your effort is a path to mastery. Now, hard work and making the effort and doing all the things, that is really, really important. But you also can't hard work your way out of something if you're going the wrong way. So we need to understand that it's not just about being lucky or talented or gifted or blessed. And some people are and some people aren't. That's not the things that lead you to success. What it is understanding that we've got to master some skills, that when we understand this is the thing that needs to happen next, then we're going to go out of our way to figure it out. I am right now trying to figure some things out on TikTok. We just got our TikTok shop set up, and I'm trying to figure out how to get my TikTok shop products onto my videos as I go. And I've just watched another video tutorial, and I think I've got it figured out. So this afternoon, guess what I'm doing, right? Because I'm not going to be defeated by something I don't know about. I have Professor Google on my side. YouTube can show me how to do anything. I've shared that story with you when a plumber and an electrician couldn't figure out how to fix my gas fireplace. I did, because I YouTubed it and figured it out. Everything is figured outable. Everything is, if only we can dismiss and put into the separate container that we need to, the emotions that come with that. Now, I'm not saying dismiss the emotions. Don't put it in a container and bury it. Put it in a container and deal with it. That hurt, that was awful. I don't get this. Don't why me yourself and get yourself into that whole thing. Deal with the emotion itself and don't attach to it. Does that make sense? That has just been the best thing for me, because you can go from here all the way down to here with, oh, blah, 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 blah happened. Why me? It always happens to me. I have the worst luck. And down and down and down we go. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Have you ever done it? I have. I'm not ashamed to say I have, but what I don't like is that I've done it way too many times. It's habitual, y'all. It's habitual. So we need to, those words that we're saying, those things that we're thinking about, that needs to go through a different filter. We also need to start learning a little bit from criticism. Now, understand, there are people, and know who to open up and allow their criticism into your life. Now, I've said this before, and over again, where people have told me stories about being with somebody who, like, for example, they're an office mate. When they see them sprinting and their office mate suddenly becomes, their most excellent nutritionist. And they're not, because they'll say, oh, you can't eat, you shouldn't be doing that, or you should be eating this way, or you should be eating that way. Is that ever happened to you? Oh gosh, 100 times. People have opinions. And sometimes they're going to take you down and criticize you and all of that. So you have to know who to open up to. That's number one. Number two, though, is that when they lob a critical something something at you, look at it as an opportunity. Okay, what can I learn from this? And also, if you need to, if they have to be confronted on the way that they said it, then say something. Just say, I want a constructive criticism, and that was kind of hurtful. Exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? You do, of course you do, because we've all done this. We can't hear what it is that we need to hear because we're too wrapped up in the delivery from somebody else. So, yeah, you can confront that. Yeah, you can talk about that, but also there might be a little juicy tidbit of something for you that's going to help you to move on. Don't discount that. Number 5 is to celebrate other people's successes. How many times have we been in the place where we're saying, oh, she's just so, and she's so lucky, and she gets this, and she gets that, and blah, 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 blah. We can't do that. Do you know envy's way down here on the vibe plate? You've seen our whole, we've had a big list of high vibe, low vibe stuff. And we want to be in that high vibe. The high vibe stuff makes you feel good. The high vibe stuff is enough for everybody. It's abundant. It's overflowing. It's so beautiful. That's the place we want to be. We want to be surrounded by beauty. And we want to feel the difference of saying, instead of saying, oh, she does this and she does that, and wouldn't it be nice? I've had people say that to me so many times. Oh, it'd be nice if I'd like that too, if I didn't have to do yada, yada, yada. I'll envy. But if we instead turned around and said, you know what, look at her. I celebrate her success. I celebrate all that she's doing and all that she's bringing to the table because, she's a contributor to this community, this society, or whatever. When we do that, everything shifts. Everything shifts. We let go of the negativity and the envy, and we find ourselves instead in a place of allowing for our success as well. And when we understand that their success is just as attainable to us and that we have that opportunity as well, we're going to give it more thought, more effort, more perseverance, and we're going to stay the course as well. Instead of giving up and saying, well, there's just not enough pie. There's enough pie for everyone, by the way. We also need to, number 6, redefine failure. Failure is opportunity. And remember Thomas Edison. How many times did he fail at making that light bulb happen, right? How many times? And I will tell you is that this when we understand and when we can redefine what it means to fail, and we can transform our approach to risk taking and trying new things and understanding even if it fails this time, it'll still work. It's still, we're on the path to having it work. Then we're going to find ourselves in a different place, more anticipatory, more in a place of it's not the end of the world and I am not a failure. Does that make sense? Oh, it sure does to me. So I'm talking to you, Leon. Okay. And what about number 7, cultivating a sense of self-compassion? I'll tell you, we need to be kind and gentle to ourselves. If it was your best friend and she was failing and she was having a hard time, you wouldn't say, you're so stupid. What's wrong with you? Why can't you get your act together? You always do X, Y, and Z. You always, unless you're a really crappy friend, but I don't think you are. This is what we have to be looking at. How can I be compassionate? How can I love myself into doing the next thing? Because the next thing might be the right thing. That's the idea of having this growth mindset. This growth mindset that changes the projection of where we're going to in this lifetime. And then the last one, which I love, by the way, is an invitation to becoming a lifelong learner. When we're a lifelong learner, we're looking for different solutions. We're like, we're like the reticular activating system for our brain, right? We're looking for evidence to support and to help us to change things. We're looking for new words. We're looking for new information. We are becoming lifelong learners, and lifelong learners find their way. Lifelong learners are committed to this belief that abilities can be honed and that they can be expanded at any stage and age of life. And having that means you're not going to be closed down. You're not going to be shut down. You're not going to be, remember the Get Smart thing with all the darn don't worries, da 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 da. You're not going to do that. You're not even going to have a cone of silence. You're going to be proclaiming it from the rooftop that you're a lifelong learner and that look what I learned. Look what I found out about myself. Look at this. And growth on that kind of a trajectory is nothing more than, there's nothing more abundant. There's nothing more overflowing than that, because nothing's going to stand in your way. You might have a setback. You might have a failure. But it's not going to stop you. You're not going to quit on yourself, because this is the very definition of what grit is. And I want you to have grit, not quit. I want you to have eyes to see the vision of what your life could be. But you got to put on the new glasses. It's the growth mindset. Go watch that TED Talk. That's an order. Go watch that TED Talk with Carol Dweck. Go buy the book. Read the book. It's insane what a change in life this can be. It is just absolutely everything. And the science is there to back it up. So that makes it even cooler. All right, now watch your email. I've got stuff coming up. We've got a special this week that you are not going to want to miss. We're just not ready to give it to you right now, but it's coming in your inbox. If you've missed any of the announcements, go read them at savingdinner.com/announcements. And don't forget, tomorrow's newsletter will be in your inbox. If there's anything that I can do at all to support you, please let me know. Send me an email to support@savingdinner.com, and I'm there for you. Thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.